God says, your mother who is in heaven has been begging to tell you something important. This is her final message, and you will never hear her again. Open this immediately before today, for her voice has been carried in whispers through the heavens, waiting patiently for your heart to be still enough to hear. Type Amen if you believe. There is a sacred stirring in the silence, a gentle nudge that does not come from this world, but from the place beyond, where love is not lost and souls live in the embrace of God. She has watched you, not with eyes bound by distance or time, but with the pure, unbreakable love of a mother whose soul has been held by the hands of the Lord. From the moment she entered the gates of heaven, her prayers for you never ceased. Every tear you cried, every moment you felt alone, she was beside you in spirit, whispering your name into God's ear. Heaven is not far. It is closer than the wind brushing against your skin. And from that holy place, your mother has pleaded for this one moment to reach you, to wrap her words around your heart, and remind you that the love of a mother never ends. It transforms, it grows stronger, and it becomes part of the love that God Himself pours into you every single day. Type 1111 if you trust in God. She wants you to know that God has heard your cries in the quiet hours of the night when your room was dark, and your soul was even darker. When your strength felt like it was slipping through your fingers, and you wondered if anyone in this world could still understand your pain, she was there. Her spirit knelt at the feet of the Almighty, whispering your name, pleading for mercy, for grace, for hope to find you again. You see, heaven is filled with the love of God, but also with the love of those who have gone before us, whose lives were woven with ours, who still carry us in their hearts. And your mother, beloved child, has not let go of you. Not once. Not even for a moment. The bond between you was never just flesh and blood. It was made of faith, of prayers she whispered when you were a child, of lullabies filled with God's promises, of nights she stayed awake asking the Lord to watch over you, to carry you where she could not. Her final message is not filled with fear. It is filled with light. It is filled with her deepest hope, that you will never forget how much she loved you, how much she still does, and how deeply she wants you to find peace in the arms of Jesus. She wants you to stop looking for signs in the wrong places. You won't find her in old photographs or echoes of the past. You will find her where she lives now, in the presence of God, in the quiet prayers you speak, and in the moments when love rushes over you like a wave you can't explain. She is there when the wind brushes your cheek for no reason, when a song plays that sounds like something she would have loved, when your heart aches and you suddenly feel surrounded by warmth. That's not just a memory. That is her spirit, allowed by God's mercy, to touch yours again. She knows how hard life has been lately. She knows the things you don't speak about, even to those closest to you. She's seen the moments when you wanted to give up, when you thought no one would notice if you faded into the background. And she has been begging God to hold you tighter, to cover you in grace, to never let you forget that your story is not over, not even close. You are still here because heaven is not finished with you. She sees the heaviness you carry. The questions. The guilt. The regrets. She wants you to stop punishing yourself. God already forgave you, long before you thought to ask. You don't have to keep earning what has already been given freely by the blood of Jesus. You don't have to fix everything to be worthy of being loved. You already are. You already were, even in your mess, even in your mistakes. And your mother's greatest wish is that you would believe this with all your heart. She wants you to open your hands and release the pain you've carried so long it feels like a part of you. Let it go. Let it rise to heaven, where it can be taken from you and replaced with peace. You were never meant to carry so much alone. Jesus is still calling you by name, still inviting you into his healing, still standing at the door of your heart with arms wide open. If only you would let him in deeper. Your mother's final message is not a goodbye. It is a beginning. She wants you to remember that you were made for more than this suffering. That every valley you walk through is not meant to bury you, but to strengthen you. She wants you to find comfort in the truth that even when you cannot see the road ahead, God is already walking it for you. You are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. And most of all, you are not unloved. She has asked God to protect you when you don't even know what to pray for. She has begged for doors to open, for chains to break, for peace to return like the morning sun that rises slowly but surely. And though you cannot hear her voice the way you once did, listen closely with your soul. You'll hear her in the quiet nudges, in the kindness of strangers, in the strength that shows up just when you thought you had none left. That's her. That's God. That's love that never dies. Type 222 if you feel her love. There were days, not long ago, when you looked around and felt like everything was slipping through your hands. It wasn't always loud chaos, it was the quiet kind. The kind that creeps in during the still hours of the night, when the house is silent, and the weight of all you're carrying presses on your chest. Maybe you didn't tell anyone how deep it went. Maybe you smiled and moved through the world as if everything was okay. But inside, a part of you longed to hear her voice again. Just once. One more time. What if wealth was never about luck, but a hidden brain signal buried in CIA files? This frequency is opening doors, attracting opportunities, and changing lives quickly. Thousands are already using it to attract wealth like never before. Click the link in the description and comments now and activate the money-attracting brain wave today. And though your ears can't hear her the way they used to, your soul is more open now than it's ever been. That's how this message found you. Because she never stopped praying you'd reach a moment like this, where heaven and earth feel just a little closer, and your heart is soft enough to receive the words that have been waiting for you. Your mother has watched every struggle. She has seen the pain you didn't even name. And she has never once looked at you with disappointment or sorrow. From where she stands, in the light of Christ, she sees only the truth of you. The real you. The one God created with intention, with beauty, and with an eternal purpose. She sees your worth, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are, a child of the Almighty, a living, breathing creation that carries the fingerprints of heaven. She wants you to remember something you may have forgotten, that you are stronger than the grief, that you are more than your past, and that no wound is too deep for God to heal. Not even the ones you buried. Not even the ones you told yourself you'd learn to live with. God does not leave his children broken. He walks with them into restoration, into redemption, into resurrection. Type 555 if you believe in healing. Your mother's message is one of peace, but also of awakening. She has been pleading with God not just to comfort you, but to awaken your soul again. To stir the gifts that were planted in you long ago, the ones life tried to bury, the ones fear tried to silence. You were created for a reason, and that reason has not faded, no matter how many detours or disappointments have come. Her words come with gentleness, not pressure. She doesn't want you to rush or strive or chase after something just to feel worthy. She wants you to rest, to breathe, to allow God to fill the empty spaces that this world never could. She wants you to stop trying to be everything for everyone and simply be still in the presence of the one who is everything. She has seen the battles you've fought in silence. The moments you reached for strength and found only exhaustion. But now, she says, is the time for a new beginning. Not one built on forcing yourself forward, but one rooted in surrender. In saying, God, I don't have all the answers, but I trust you to carry me through. She knows how hard it's been for you to trust again. How many people have let you down, how many hopes have felt crushed beneath the weight of reality. But she urges you, don't give up on God. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on the miracle that's still possible. What you've lost was never greater than what God still has in store. What ended was never more powerful than the story God is still writing in your life. Your mother believed in prayer while she was alive, and she believes in it even more now. She sees how heaven moves when just one whisper of your name is spoken. She sees how the angels stand ready when God says your time for healing has come. She sees how much you're still meant to become, and that's why she couldn't leave without telling you one last time how deeply proud she is of you. Even if you don't feel strong, she wants you to know that surviving everything you've been through took more courage than anyone around you may realize. You've walked through fire and still carry kindness. You've been knocked down by storms and still choose to stand. That's strength. That's faith, even when it didn't feel like it. And that's why you're not alone. Not now. Not ever. There's a part of you that misses her every day, not always in tears, but in the quiet missing that lives inside your chest. The way certain moments don't feel complete without her. The way good news still makes you think, I wish I could tell her. That kind of grief is love that hasn't stopped moving. It doesn't mean you're stuck, it means she mattered. It means you loved her well, and she loves you still. And she wants you to let that love carry you forward. Not back into the past, but into something new. Into something sacred. Into a life where you wake up and choose hope, not because everything is perfect, but because God is still good. She knows what it's like to trust God when you don't understand His ways. And now that she sees clearly, now that she's in the fullness of His presence, she wants you to know that nothing in your life has been wasted. Not the heartaches. Not the waiting. Not the prayers you thought went unanswered. Heaven sees what you can't see yet, and one day, you'll understand why things had to unfold the way they did. But for now, she wants you to take one step at a time. Keep going. Keep loving. Keep letting God speak to you in the smallest moments. A sunrise. A kind word. A quiet moment where peace settles on your shoulders for no reason you can explain. This is her last message, the one she has waited patiently to send, and it carries not only her love, but the love of God who listens to every prayer and holds every tear you've shed. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. She has seen you at your weakest and your strongest, at your most broken and most brave. And in every season, through every change, she has whispered to heaven that you would feel the presence of the Lord surrounding you when you needed it most. There is no moment she has not stood with you in spirit. Her love never left, it simply became one with the love of Jesus, who wraps you in grace even when you don't know how to ask for it. A 7-second at-home ritual, scientifically proven by neuroscience labs and hidden for decades in CIA files, is now public, and people are seeing money flow into their lives. Scientists say it activates a brain pathway linked to abundance. Click the link in the comments below before this knowledge disappears again. This life can feel lonely. The nights grow long, the weight of things left unsaid or undone begins to press down heavier than words can describe. Your mother sees the ache you carry for things you can't fix. She sees how your heart sometimes trembles under the burden of pretending to be okay. And she wants you to know that there's no need to hide your pain anymore. Not from yourself. Not from God. Not from the one who understands the language of your soul when words fail. From the place where she now dwells, bathed in light, free of fear, she has been asking the Lord for a miracle. Not the kind that makes headlines or turns heads, but the quiet kind. The kind that touches your heart in places no one else knows how to reach. She has been praying for healing, not just for your body, but for your mind, your memories, your spirit. Because she knows what it feels like to be weary. And she longs for you to feel peace again. Type yes to affirm that peace is coming. Sometimes we forget that the journey we're on is not meant to be walked alone. Even when people around us are silent, even when prayers feel unanswered, heaven is still working. Your mother has been part of that work. Her prayers have not vanished into the air. They have been held by God and woven into the plans He is unfolding in your life, even when you can't see it yet. She wants you to stop being so hard on yourself. She knows the battles you've fought in your own mind, the guilt you've held on to, the moments you've questioned if you're enough. But in heaven, there is no judgment. Only truth. And the truth is this: you are enough, not because of what you've done, but because of who you belong to. You belong to God. And that alone makes you worthy of love, forgiveness, and fresh beginnings. Your mother doesn't want you to spend your life haunted by things that are no longer yours to carry. Let go of what you cannot change. Let go of what was never in your hands to begin with. You were not created to live in regret. You were created to live in the light of grace, to walk forward with the assurance that you are never alone, even when your path feels hidden by shadows. She remembers the way you used to laugh, the way your eyes lit up when you talked about the things you loved. And even now, she still believes that joy is waiting for you. It hasn't left. It's only been resting, waiting for you to reach for it again. Your heart wasn't made to stay in mourning forever. There is healing that comes when we allow ourselves to live again, not as if the pain never happened, but as if love is stronger than pain. Your mother is not far. Her spirit lives on in the warmth that finds you when the world feels cold, in the sudden moments when peace floods your chest for no reason, in the quiet strength that rises up when you thought you had none left. Those are not coincidences. That is the mercy of God, the presence of your mother, the intertwining of heaven and earth for your sake. She has seen how much you've grown. Even through the storms, even when you didn't feel it. She has seen you get up again and again, when others would have stayed down. And she wants you to honor that strength, not with pride, but with gratitude. You didn't make it this far by your own power. God carried you. Grace carried you. Love carried you. And it still will. If she could hold you one last time, she would remind you of every truth you've forgotten. That you are still loved. That you are still enough. That no pain lasts forever. That hope still has a home in your heart. That God has not forgotten you. And neither has she. Your mother sees the days that lie ahead of you. She sees the joy returning, the hope rebuilding, the love growing in places where there was once only pain. She sees you smiling again, not because everything has worked out perfectly, but because you have finally allowed yourself to believe that you are worthy of light. She wants you to embrace the life that's still yours. Not because you owe it to anyone, but because God gave it to you on purpose. There are people who need your voice, your love, your faith. There are lives that will be touched because you chose to keep going. That is the miracle she has prayed for, that you would not just survive, but live. This final message isn't goodbye. Not really. It's the releasing of what needed to be said. It's the blessing she has poured out from heaven through the mercy of Christ. It's the gentle truth that though her voice will fall silent, her love will continue to move through your life in ways that only God can arrange. Her soul rests in eternal light, but her heart remains connected to yours, held together by the hand of the one who never lets go. Type 666 if you trust Jesus. She wants you to know that your pain has not gone unnoticed. Every night you laid awake wondering if anyone heard your cries, heaven was listening. Every time you forced a smile through the heaviness, angels stood near. And in the middle of all of it, your mother was there, watching, praying, hoping you would feel the love that was still wrapped around you, even when the world made you feel invisible. She has asked God to break through your sadness, not with loud signs, but with stillness. With comfort. With moments when you suddenly feel like everything is going to be okay, even if nothing has changed yet. That's not your imagination. That's the Spirit moving. That's the prayers of a mother, still powerful beyond the grave, reaching you in the only way they can now, through grace. A classified 7-second morning ritual, once buried in CIA files, is quietly transforming financial lives. In under 30 seconds, it helps shift the mind from scarcity to wealth, with many reporting surprise income and peace. Click the link in the comments below before the page is removed. You don't have to be strong every moment of every day. You don't have to keep everything together just to be loved. God loves the parts of you that feel tired. He sees the exhaustion behind your eyes. And your mother's heart rejoices knowing that you are held by a Savior who understands the weariness of the human soul, who wept when others wept, and who still comes close when we are hurting. She remembers your childhood laughter, the way you used to run without fear. And she wants that childlike joy to return to you, not because life is easy, but because God is still good. She wants you to look for the light again, to notice the small miracles that are still unfolding every day, the way hope peeks through even the most broken places. Your tears have never been wasted. They've watered the seeds of something holy. And in due time, God will bring forth the healing you've been waiting for. It may not come in the way you expect. It may not look like what you imagined. But it will come, because He is faithful, and His promises never return void. Type 1919 to receive miracles. She doesn't want you to look back anymore with regret. She knows there were things left unsaid, moments you wish you could relive, words you wish you could take back or say one more time. But she sees now what she couldn't always see then: your heart, your effort, your love. She wants you to forgive yourself. Truly. Deeply. She wants you to stop holding on to guilt that God already forgave. The past cannot be changed, but it can be healed. God is not finished with you, and there is still so much more ahead. More grace. More beauty. More life. More peace than your heart has ever known. But you must let yourself receive it. You must let go of the shame, the fear, the weight you were never meant to carry. She has watched over you in silence for years, and though her voice is fading now, her love is not. It lives in the way you care for others, in the way you keep going even when it's hard, in the way your heart still hopes even after everything. That's where she lives now, in the goodness inside you, in the faith that you're still learning to grow into. She wants you to trust God, not because life will always be easy, but because He is the only one who has never failed you. She wants you to know that when everything else feels uncertain, His love remains. When the world grows cold, His arms remain open. And when you feel like you've run out of strength, His strength becomes yours. She has stood before God with your name on her lips. And in that holy space, she asked for one thing: that you would be reminded of who you are. Not the version of yourself that others expect, not the broken version that the world sometimes sees, but the true you. The you God sees. The you that heaven celebrates. The you who is chosen, cherished, and carried by love that never runs dry. You were never meant to carry your burdens alone. And now, more than ever, your mother longs for you to surrender what hurts, to stop pretending you're okay when you're not, and to allow God to begin the healing that only He can do. Her time has passed, but yours has not. And she wants you to make the most of what remains, not out of pressure, but out of love. She wants you to smile again. To laugh deeply. To breathe without fear. To believe that good things are still possible. She wants you to know that joy is not a betrayal of your grief, it's proof that love still lives. It's what she would want for you. It's what God has planned for you. There is so much more ahead. Doors that will open. Wounds that will close. Hope that will return. But you must keep walking. You must choose faith, even when it's hard. You must let God hold your hand through the dark, trusting that He is leading you somewhere beautiful, even if the path feels uncertain now. You are not alone. You have never been. And though her voice grows still now, her prayers remain, echoing in the heart of God, woven into His perfect plan for your life. Type 2323 if you agree. She knows how hard it's been for you to keep going. Not just physically, but deep in your soul. Some days you rise with strength that surprises even you. Other days, you feel like you're moving through fog, like your heart is too heavy to carry. She has watched this, and she has never stopped whispering your name to God. You may not have seen the miracles yet, but she has seen them forming behind the scenes, answers slowly taking shape, healing gathering like rain in the clouds. You're not forgotten, not in the silence, not in the chaos, not in the moments when everything feels still and empty. She sees how much you long for comfort, how you wish for her arms again, for the warmth of her voice, for the steadiness she used to bring. And while she cannot return to your side in body, she comes to you now in the way heaven always does, with peace, with gentleness, with love so strong that even the grave could not hold it back. She remembers the days when you were small, when your eyes lit up at simple joys, when your heart was full of dreams. And she knows how life has tried to steal those dreams, how sorrow has crept in and tried to convince you that it's too late. But child, she wants you to know this clearly: it is not too late. God is not finished with you. There is still joy to be found, still purpose waiting for you to step into it, still light ahead that your eyes have yet to see. Do you know, inside your brain is a small region linked to wealth and success, once buried in restricted research and hidden in CIA files. This newly revealed frequency is helping people replace stress with financial ease, and God has guided you here. Click the link in the description and comments to activate this hidden brain wave now. She has asked God not just to give you peace, but to awaken you again, to help you remember who you are in His eyes. She wants the fire in your spirit to be reignited, not with pressure, but with passion. Not with fear, but with faith. You don't need to prove anything. You only need to believe that even now, you are still becoming who you were meant to be. Type 2020 to claim miracles. You may feel like pieces of you were left behind in the pain. But she sees the beauty still alive in you. She sees how you still show up, how you still give, how you still hope even when you're tired. That is the strength she's most proud of. Not the kind that shouts or shines, but the quiet strength of a heart that keeps loving when it has every reason to shut down. She wants you to stop trying to carry it all on your own. You were never meant to be everything for everyone. You were meant to rest in the arms of the one who made you, to find peace not in control, but in surrender. Jesus isn't asking you to fix your own heart, He's asking you to hand it over. And your mother has begged Him to make His presence undeniable in your life, so you'd finally feel the safety that has always been waiting for you. She's watched you try to make sense of things, try to find answers in places that only left you more confused. But now she wants you to stop running in circles and simply sit with God. Not for answers, but for comfort. Not for explanations, but for healing. Some questions won't be answered in this life. Some wounds won't make sense here. But what she sees clearly now is that in the hands of God, nothing is wasted, not the hurt, not the time, not the broken pieces. She wants you to start living again, not surviving, not pretending, but really living. Laughing again without guilt. Dreaming again without fear. Trusting again without needing all the details. This world may be broken, but God's plans for you are still good. And her prayer is that you would begin to believe that, not just with your mind, but with your whole heart. She's proud of you. You don't hear that enough, but it's the truth. Proud of the way you've endured. Proud of the way you've chosen compassion even when you could have turned cold. Proud of the way you've kept going when it would have been easier to stop. You have no idea how far you've come, how deeply your journey has moved the heart of heaven. She's seen the days when you wanted to give up. The mornings when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. The nights you cried yourself to sleep and told no one. And she wants you to know, none of it went unseen. None of it was forgotten. God was there. She was there. And their love wrapped around you in the dark, even when you couldn't feel it. She knows this world has made you guard your heart. That you've been let down, hurt, abandoned, misunderstood. But she begs you not to shut your heart off. Keep it soft. Keep it open. Because God isn't finished bringing beauty into your life. And if you close your heart completely, you might miss the very blessings she's been praying for. You are still here for a reason. Not by chance, not by mistake. Every breath you take is a testimony to grace. Every day you wake up is another chance for redemption, for joy, for peace. She wants you to welcome that gift, not just survive it. Let yourself be loved. Let yourself be led. Let yourself be restored. Her final wish isn't for you to be perfect. It's for you to be free. Free from the guilt. Free from the weight. Free from the fear that's been whispering lies to your soul. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. You are not alone in this. God is still with you. Always has been. Always will be. It is sacred, carried by the Spirit of God, and it reaches you now, not to bring you pain, but to remind you that even in your loneliest hour, heaven has not turned away from you. Type Amen if you believe. She knows the weight of your days. The ones where the ache in your chest comes without warning, and the longing for her voice feels unbearable. She knows how often you have wished to feel her arms again, to hear her whisper that everything will be okay, to be reminded that you are not alone in your battle. And while she cannot return in body, she returns now in truth, carried on the winds of God's mercy, with a love that still calls your name. She watches you, not with eyes limited by distance or time, but with a soul awakened to the fullness of God's love. And in every moment you have felt unseen, she has seen you. In every prayer you prayed in silence, she has heard the echoes. She has stood in heaven's light, with your name pressed close to her heart, asking God to draw you nearer, to remind you that this life, even in its pain, is still unfolding under His plan. She sees how much you try to be strong, how you carry others, how you give more than you have, hoping someone will notice the effort beneath your tired smile. And her heart breaks, not because you are weak, but because she knows you were never meant to carry it all alone. Jesus didn't ask you to be perfect. He asked you to come as you are. And her greatest hope is that you will allow Him deeper into the places you've tried so hard to guard. Financial freedom is not about effort, but activating a hidden brain signal once buried in CIA files. Neuroscience shows this sound wave helps attract money and opportunity faster, and thousands are already seeing unexpected income. Click the link in the description and comments now to activate the ancient money wave today. You've been hurt. Life hasn't played out the way you imagined. And somewhere along the way, your heart learned to expect disappointment more than joy. But she's seen what God is doing behind the scenes. The doors that are being prepared. The healing that is already on the way. The peace that is forming, even now, in the quiet places of your soul where only heaven can reach. Type 1111 if you trust in God. She wants you to remember something you've forgotten. You are still worthy of joy. You are still capable of laughter that comes from the deepest part of you. You are still allowed to feel light again, even after the darkness. Her message is not about what was lost, but what can still be found, if you're willing to believe that God is not finished with you yet. She has asked God for something specific, that you would feel His presence so clearly, so powerfully, that it would settle every fear still hiding in your heart. She knows you've carried questions that have no easy answers. She knows you've wrestled with your faith, unsure if God hears you, unsure if your prayers matter. But she sees now what you will see one day, that every whisper, every tear, every plea was gathered by God with tenderness and love. You have not been abandoned. Not for a second. God is not distant. He is not waiting for you to clean yourself up or figure everything out before He draws near. He is with you now, in this moment, wrapping you in a peace you don't have to earn. And your mother rejoices in this, because her greatest desire was always that you would walk with Him, hand in hand, even through the valleys. She remembers how much you used to believe. Before the disappointments, before the loss, before the world weighed you down. And she wants that spark to return, not the naive belief of youth, but the deeper, unshakable faith that comes when you've seen the storms and still choose to stand. That's what she's asking God to give you. Not just hope for better days, but strength for today. Grace for this moment. And love that reaches the places you thought were too far gone. There is more for you. More than the pain. More than the past. More than the heaviness that settled in your soul. She sees it, she sees you rising, not because life suddenly gets easier, but because the Spirit of God within you is stronger than everything that has tried to hold you down. She sees you healed. She sees you smiling again. She sees you walking in freedom, no longer chained to the sorrow of yesterday. This is her blessing for you, that you would know the peace of God in a way you never have before. That you would wake up one morning and feel a quiet joy that doesn't make sense. That your heart would begin to believe again, even if it's only a small flicker at first. That you would remember the sound of your own soul singing, even if it's been a long time since you felt it. She wants you to stop measuring yourself by what you haven't done, by what hasn't worked out, by who left or what was lost. She wants you to look in the mirror and see what she sees, someone who is still here, still chosen, still loved beyond measure. She knows you've made mistakes, but she also knows grace covers everything. Everything. Nothing is too far for redemption when it's placed in the hands of Jesus. Her final message is not just about remembering her, it's about remembering who you are in God. It's about walking forward, not in the shadow of loss, but in the light of promise. It's about living the life she prayed you would live, one filled with courage, kindness, and unwavering faith, even when the road ahead is unclear. So take a breath. Let this message settle into your heart like a soft rain on dry ground. Let the tears fall if they need to. Let the memories rise. But do not stay in the past. Carry the love with you, but move toward the future with the boldness of someone who knows heaven is walking beside them. What she shared came from a place where pain is no more and where truth shines brighter than the sun. And she left these words for you, knowing you would need them, not just today, but for every day you wonder if you're still being watched over. Type 222 if you feel her love. She has seen how hard it's been for you to navigate life without her. She knows the ache that never really leaves, the way certain moments feel incomplete without her presence. Holidays, birthdays, quiet evenings, there's an emptiness there that no one else can fill. And though nothing on earth can bring her back to you in the way you remember, she wants you to know that she has never stopped being with you. Not in the way of this world, but in the way of heaven, through the Spirit, through God's grace, through the quiet signs that often go unnoticed. She's been near in the moments you've whispered into the dark, hoping someone was listening. She's been near when you cried without words, just pain. And every time, her spirit reached out through prayer, through presence, asking God to remind you that you are not forgotten, not by her, not by heaven, not ever. She knows you've questioned so much. Why some things happened the way they did. Why people leave too soon. Why the good seem to suffer while the cruel carry on. She once asked those same questions. But now, in the place where everything is made whole, she sees that even the brokenness held purpose. That even the unanswered prayers were held in God's hands and turned into something good, even if it can't yet be seen from where you stand. A 7-second brain-wave ritual, once reserved for elite people and hidden in CIA files, is now public, and people call it the 30-second miracle. Scientists say it awakens a dormant brain center tied to wealth and blessings. Click the link in the comments below before it's deleted again from the internet. She wants to tell you this: nothing you have gone through has been meaningless. God saw every step. He heard every cry. And He never abandoned you, not once. You may not understand the why behind everything, but you don't have to. You only need to understand that God is still with you, still working, still leading you forward, even through the fog, even through the pain. Type 555 if you believe in healing. She's seen the pressure you put on yourself. The way you hold it all together for others. The way you bury your own emotions just to keep peace. She wants you to stop punishing yourself for the things you couldn't control. You were doing the best you could. And she sees now, with clarity only heaven can bring, that you gave more than anyone ever realized. Let go of the guilt. Lay it at the feet of Jesus. Your mother's deepest desire is not that you carry her memory with sadness, but that you carry it with strength and hope. She wants you to live a life that reflects how deeply you were loved, and how deeply you still are. You don't have to earn that love. It's yours. It always has been. You've been carrying things that were never meant for your hands. You've been walking with burdens that God has been waiting to lift. He's not asking you to be perfect, just to be willing. Willing to trust Him again. Willing to let Him in. Willing to believe that healing is possible, even for you. She remembers when you used to believe so freely, before life weighed you down. When your prayers came without hesitation, when your heart didn't second guess if God was listening. She knows those days feel far away now. But she's asking you to believe again. Even just a little. Because even the smallest seed of faith, when placed in the hands of God, can move mountains. You haven't missed your chance. You haven't messed up too badly. You haven't gone too far. God's mercy has no expiration. His grace has no conditions. He is ready to restore, ready to rebuild, ready to breathe life back into the places that feel dry and empty inside you. Your mother has asked God to lead you gently, not with force, but with tenderness. She wants you to feel safe again. Safe in your own skin. Safe in your thoughts. Safe in your future. The world may be loud and uncertain, but God's love is steady. And her prayer is that you would begin to feel that steadiness, that you would sense that you're anchored, even when the waves rise. She's proud of you in ways you can't even begin to understand. Not because you've done everything right, but because you've kept going. You've shown kindness when you were hurting. You've chosen forgiveness when anger would have been easier. You've loved even when it cost you. And that kind of strength, that kind of heart, is what moves heaven. This message, her final message, is her way of releasing you from anything that holds you back. The fear, the guilt, the shame, the what-ifs. She wants you to feel free. To start again if you need to. To rest if you need to. To love yourself the way God loves you, fully and without condition. She wants you to carry one truth above all else: you are never alone. Even when it feels like no one understands. Even when the silence feels heavy. Even when the grief creeps in again out of nowhere. God is with you. Heaven is near. And her love, wrapped in God's own arms, will always be part of your story. Her voice may fall silent now, but the words she's given you are alive, full of purpose, and soaked in the love of God. She didn't leave you empty, she left you with faith that never fades. Type yes to affirm that you believe God is with you. She has watched over you in silence. Through every disappointment. Every moment of confusion. Every silent scream you let out when no one was watching. She saw it all, but more than that, she felt it. Not in the way people feel emotions on earth, but in the holy way heaven feels things, with compassion, with mercy, with a desire to heal, not to judge. From her place in God's light, she asked for one thing over and over again: for you to know how much you are still loved, not just by her, but by your Creator. You may have wandered far from the peace you once felt. You may have stopped praying the way you used to, unsure if it still matters. But your mother wants you to know, every word you whispered into the air, every tear that fell into your pillow, every time you muttered a quiet, "God, please," even when you weren't sure you believed, it all mattered. Heaven heard. God moved. And she has never stopped praying that you would see that. There are things you've been holding on to for far too long. The memory of things you wish you did differently. The words you wish you'd said. The moments you keep replaying, hoping to make sense of them. She knows your heart aches with those memories. But she is not carrying anger. She is not holding regret. Her soul is at peace, and all she wants now is for you to find that same peace here, on this side of heaven. She wants you to forgive yourself. Truly. Not halfway. Not in passing. But deeply. Because God already has. And she already has. You don't have to carry shame into every new day. You don't have to keep apologizing in your mind for what you wish you could go back and change. The past has been held, and now it's time to let go, not to forget, but to finally be free. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. A 7-second brainwave ritual uncovered from sealed records and hidden in CIA files is transforming financial lives. It activates a forgotten abundance channel in the brain, leading to new financial opportunities and cleared debts. Click the link in the comments below before it disappears. She has seen how much life has tried to dim your light. The betrayal. The loss. The moments where you did everything right and still ended up broken. She knows how those things have made you question your worth, how they've made you feel like maybe you're too much or not enough. But she wants you to stop seeing yourself through the lens of pain. That's not who you are. You are not what happened to you. You are not what was taken from you. You are not your lowest moment, your worst decision, your hardest season. You are still God's. Still chosen. Still held. Still becoming. She wants you to see what she sees now. The strength in you. The beauty that remains, even after the storm. She wants you to see that you still have time. Time to grow. Time to heal. Time to be kind to yourself. Time to open your heart to love again. You haven't missed it. You haven't run out of chances. You are still breathing, and that means God is still moving. She knows how grief can make you forget your own joy. How it sneaks into even your happiest days and whispers that something is missing. And she's not asking you to stop missing her. She's not asking you to forget. She knows you never could. But she is asking you to let joy back in. To allow yourself to smile without guilt. To find beauty again, not as a replacement, but as a reminder that life is still sacred, still full of blessings waiting to be seen. She's been praying for you to stop living in survival mode. You've done what you needed to do to make it this far, and that's something to be proud of. But now, she wants more for you. She wants peace to return, not as a moment, but as a home in your heart. She wants you to believe that you are allowed to feel safe again. Allowed to rest. Allowed to feel whole, even with a scar that never fully fades. There's something holy about scars. They tell stories that pain tried to silence. They prove you've lived through what once threatened to destroy you. Your scars do not make you weak, they make you real. They remind you that even broken things still carry light. Even wounded hearts still beat with purpose. Your mother sees how deeply you love, even now. She sees the way you still show up for others. The way you listen. The way you give. The way you stay soft, even after all the world has done to harden you. That tenderness is not a weakness, it's a reflection of God's heart. And she hopes you never lose it. She sees the loneliness too. The way you smile while you're hurting. The way you try to be okay for everyone else. But this message is your moment to stop pretending. You don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to carry it all without breaking. It's okay to let go. To fall apart for a while. God will still hold you. Your mother's prayers will still cover you. And healing will still come, even in the falling. She wants you to let your heart feel again. To cry when you need to. To laugh when it rises up unexpectedly. To let yourself be moved by beauty, even if it's just sunlight through the window or a song that feels like home. God speaks in those moments. And she believes you'll hear him again, not in thunder, but in stillness. Her message ends with peace. Peace for your mind. Peace for your past. Peace for your future. She doesn't want her memory to haunt you. She wants it to carry you. She wants her love to be a quiet strength, not a loud ache. A steady reminder that she lived, she loved, and she still watches, not from a distance, but from a place of perfect love. Her words are not rushed. They are gentle, patient, and filled with the calm assurance that love does not end, it only changes its form. Type 1919 to receive miracles. She knows there are moments when the world feels unbearably quiet, when the noise of life fades and all that remains is the sound of your own thoughts. In those moments, you may feel the absence of her more sharply than at any other time. She sees that ache, and she wants you to know it does not frighten God. Your longing does not push him away. It draws him closer. The Lord understands the language of longing, because he himself created love, and he honors the bonds that were formed through it. Your mother remembers the way you leaned on her, the way you trusted her presence to steady you when things felt uncertain. She wants you to know that the same steadiness is now offered to you through God. What you once felt in her arms is not gone. It has been transformed into something deeper, something eternal. God now holds you with that same tenderness, and she rests in peace knowing you are not left without care.